Our theme today is focused on how to support our local businesses, as well as contributing to area agencies that are working to help our citizens and animals who are in need. There's something special about acts of generosity and their effect on us as individuals. When we choose to give back to others, we are showing that we respect them as individuals. And this simple effort is tremendously empowering, even beyond the actual contribution made. And at the same time, we enjoy a sense of enrichment in our own lives because we feel valued by others. Giving back, whether monetarily or by donating our time, should be a goal of anyone in their pursuit of a joyful life. Giving back empowers others and motivates them to perform acts of generosity as well. Ultimately, this creates a community of altruism that creates a culture of respect, caring, and concern. This should be an environment that we all strive to achieve regardless of our own situation. Whether small or large in nature, acts of generosity have profound effects. Everyone's aware this has been a difficult and challenging year because of the pandemic. In the city of Kent, income tax collections for the second quarter were down 17%. It's expected that tax revenue will drop between 5 and 10% in the fourth quarter. Unemployment in Kent was 12% during the second quarter and 7% in the third quarter. A few businesses have closed, including Peace, Love, and Little Donuts, one of my grandchildren's favorites, Continental Grill, Gracie Lane, and the AAA on Route 59. The Cheesemonger will be closing the end of this month. There are a few new businesses. Pita Pit, Barrio Expansion, and Quench Juice Bar will be coming soon. Okay, that's all for the doom and gloom. We have good news about ways we can make a difference in our community. First, I want you to know there is a list of area businesses and community agencies with links to information posted on our website. Just look under today's announcement that says Locals Supporting Locals. And I wanted to add a note about the socially responsible sweatshop at Franklin School. They will bring your purchases to your car, so you can purchase online and then arrange for delivery to your car. I also want to share some statistics. At Thanksgiving, Kent Social Services provided 690 food baskets. Right now, they're preparing the same number for Christmas. This is about 100 more than last year. And also last year, 650 children received gifts at Christmas time. What Kent Social Services is most urgently requesting right now for families and children for Christmas are gift cards from Walmart in $30 denominations. So if you can contribute some of those, they will be much appreciated. Ways we can help local businesses right now, including restaurants, is to shop or carry out or buy gift cards. Especially if you buy gift cards, they're getting revenue up front. Okay, to look at local organizations we can support, I would first like to turn to Julia Kalecki, Director of Development and Marketing with United Way, and she'll talk about the agency and how we can help. After her presentation, you'll be able to ask questions. Renee, would you explain how that'll work? And then Julia, go ahead with your presentation.
Great. So what I'll have you do, if you want to type questions into the chat as Julia is talking, you can go ahead and do that. There's a little, at the bottom of your screen, there should be some icons, including participants in chat. So if you click on the chat button, you can type into that. You can also connect the chat to the side of your window so you can see what's going on and type into the chat. Once Julia's done, I'll also ask for people to raise hands. We have few enough people where I think if you just put your hand in front of your face, I'll be able to see you. And then we'll go back and forth between questions in the chat and people with their hands raised. So with that, I'll invite Julia to go ahead and get started.
Thanks for inviting me to come and speak to you guys. I started at United Way on March 30th, so I'm a pandemic worker, I guess. Started right after everything shut down for the first time. So it's definitely been different from when I applied at the position, not what I expected, but we've definitely been able to, persevere through the COVID-19 pandemic and have pushed to continue to support the local nonprofits that we do support already. United Way supports 43 programs in Portage County, Kent Social Services being one of them, Center of Hope, basically all of family communities and family community services programs we support. We support Coleman. It's just a plethora of organizations that we're lucky enough to support. And unfortunately, this year we had to decrease some of the funds just because we are aware that donations might not be as healthy as prior years because of this. More people are definitely struggling in the area, and we see that every day. Every day I come to work, you can see who's struggling and how they're struggling. And especially through our 211 info line, which is like a 24/7 information hotline that we run, they're getting more calls than they ever have in the past. Most of these calls are for food assistance, utility assistance, shelter in general, and then just general information about where they can go to get any help that they may need. At the beginning of the pandemic, we started a COVID-19 emergency response fund. So we were lucky enough to get donations from both Meyer and GE Healthcare to start that fund. So at the beginning of it, we had $23,000 in it. And then we asked community members to also donate to that fund. So we were able to, in just a few months, able to get that fund up to $60,000 to be able to support nonprofits that may be struggling more than normal, which was most of them. A lot of the money has gone towards community food shelters, Salvation Armies, drive-through food that they give away. A lot of school districts were giving away food to their children in the mornings and lunches during the summer. So we were able to fund those programs as well. And then there was just a few random ones. We were able to support the firefighters in Ritztown and the hospital, University Hospital, and provide them with dinner for one night just to show that we were thankful for what they are doing. So as we've seen this dramatic increase in needs for food and shelter, we've seen that people who never thought that they would be struggling are now struggling. So they're now requesting assistance. So our organization is in more need than normal. So getting donations is harder than normal too. And getting volunteers is also harder because some people don't, want to come in the office and do things for us because they don't feel safe leaving their home. But despite all of the negatives that this year has, we United Way and the community has really stepped up once again to support our friends and our neighbors together. This year on December 1st, we celebrated our 50th anniversary in Portage County. We didn't get to celebrate it as we would have liked with a huge party, but here we are in a pandemic. So, we're hoping this year brings more excitement about United Way and more awareness about what United Way does for our community. That's pretty much all I have. If anyone has questions, feel free.
So again, if you have a question, you can either type it in the chat or just raise your hand so I can see a nice big hand in front of the camera. All right, Gail. And you'll have to unmute. There you go.
Julia, tell them how United Way decides which agencies and programs to fund?
Every 3 years, I guess every year we do it. We focus on education, health, and financial stability. So every year, one of those will come up, and the organization writes grants to us, and then we have all volunteers, all local community members come together and read through those grants and make the choices of how much money they get and who gets to receive those grants. So United Way employees have no say in who's receiving the grant. It's all local community members who volunteer their time to do so. So if you're interested, maybe even in being on one of those programs, like that committee, then please let us know. We also have a campaign committee, which is what I run, which is mostly getting donations and doing the fundraising.
Great. I see a question in the chat from Joanne Dowdy. If someone wants to volunteer, what safety precautions are in place to secure their visit to your sites?
Right now, it's pretty much just me and Bill who are in the office, and we have our own offices, so we're able to stay separate. Before anyone comes into our office, we make sure they wash their hands, first of all, before they even walk in. And then we do have a thermometer that you shoot at the forehead, and it takes your temperature. So we make sure their temperature is okay. And then we do have a separate room. If someone feels uncomfortable, they can be in a room by themselves to be able to do any work that we might have for them. Most of the volunteer opportunities we have right now are, sorting the books for our Big Red Bookshelf program. But we definitely take everything very seriously. If we're not sitting in our desk, we're wearing our masks.
Great, thank you. Another question in the chat is from Jill Hazelton. What percentage of monies raised are used for administration?
83% of the money that we raise goes right back into the community. So we have a 17% of the monies that are going towards, paying salaries.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Raise hands. I'm watching the chat. Great, thank you.
Can I throw a comment on there, Julia, real quick? Is that an option? As a member of the United Way board presently, Bill would probably want to point out that the more money United Way raises, the less of the percentage goes to administration, right? Because administration costs are fixed.
Right.
It's basically just Bill's salary, your salary, and I think Maureen, right? And maybe a little bit for a couple of other things like rent and those sorts of things. But those costs are fixed. The more money that United Way raises, the more goes back into the community percentage-wise. But it's great work that you're doing. We all know how serious the need is, especially for food and shelter right now. So I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing to try to, meet that need and fill that gap. There's a lot more that needs to happen that you can't do, but you're doing the best we possibly can with the limited resources we have in Portage County. So thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome.
There is another question if you want me to answer that. It says, what is the greatest need right now? We do still have quite a few monies left in our COVID-19 fund, so we're not really pushing for that right now. Right now, it's the funds that we help to provide for the 43 programs that we do support. So just general donations is really where we're at. We want to make sure that we're able to support and not even bring down more than we already have for the organizations that write the grants to us. So we want to make sure that we have those funds to be able to support the other nonprofits in the community.
Great, thank you. Does United Way accept stock as donations, and how do you do that?
We do accept stock. I've never dealt with it, so I'm not really positive about that. That's probably something that I could have Bill answer and get back to you guys about that. But other ways to donate, you can send a check right to our offices. You can donate at uwportage.org. You can donate on Facebook, whichever you're comfortable with. We greatly appreciate any donations or any volunteer time that you're willing to offer.
Great. Any last questions?
You mentioned the bookshelf, Julia. So I know that you take direct donations of books. Are there any other hard goods that you accept, or would you prefer those go to partner organizations directly?
We can accept them. During the month of July, when we did the month of caring drive-through, we accepted a lot of donations like that. And we have places to give them, but honestly, it's probably easier just to give them directly to the organization who might need it more. Cause we're dispersing, the whole thing with United Way is the money that we bring in, we're dispersing it to all of the organizations. So the same thing with the donations like that, we're dispersing to anyone who might need it. So it just depends on what someone's personal preference is. If you want to donate anything to us, I mean, we're definitely going to get it out there to whoever needs it the most.
Great. Any more questions? All right, back to you, Debbie.
Okay, thank you. Julia, thank you so much. That was very informative and helpful for us all. So I appreciate it. Our next presenter is Heather Malarchik. Heather, are you with us?
Yes, I just unmuted myself.
Oh, good. Hi, Heather. Welcome. Welcome. Heather is with Main Street Kent, and she's going to tell us all about how we can help there.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad you pronounced my name correctly. A lot of people say Malarchik, but it's definitely Malarchik. So thank you. So yeah, I've been with Main Street Kent for 9 years, and I looked up your website because I'm not real familiar with your organization. And the words that popped out to me: empower citizens to shape better communities. And that's awesome. That's exactly what we're doing too. So clearly we're like-minded people, and it's easy to have this conversation with you. Which is probably why I was invited to come here and talk about the importance of shopping locally, especially now, but in general as people in our community. Right now with the pandemic, these businesses are struggling like I've absolutely had no idea they could be. So just like our people in our community, the businesses are struggling right alongside them. And so I think that the most important thing is to realize that the convenience of shopping online with the online giants is devastating to our businesses, and it's tempting and it's convenient and it's safe. And so I want to just kind of show that there's a lot of options out there that are convenient and safe as well by supporting our local businesses. So clearly there's a lot of reasons to support our local businesses. We want to have character in our downtown. We don't want a bunch of big box options out there. We need to keep our character downtown, keeping the money in our economy, and fostering community well-being. I mean, I think we have a great community of business owners and community people that just kind of make our downtown special. So a lot of our businesses have extended shopping hours this holiday season, and they have special days when they are allowing for private shopping, or by just making a phone call and saying, hey, can I come in at this certain time when you're off? They will meet you there and help you shop through what they have available. Online, I know we have at least 10 very solid online shopping options. And so they can ship, they'll deliver to you. Some of them will just bring things to your house or offer curbside. So you can just pull up and get things brought to your car if you're not comfortable shopping in person. But they also have a plexiglass up and masks on their faces and sanitizing stations. They're doing absolutely everything, not just because they have to, but because it matters, to make the shopping possible for our community. Let's see, looking at notes. So when I think of what is available in downtown Kent, there really is literally something for everyone on my list. So there's jewelry, there's handmade chocolates and caramel corn. You can buy a musical instrument. There's ornaments, candles, books, records, freshly roasted coffee, one-of-a-kind art. There's so many local artists that are selling their things through places like McKay Bricker and Trappist Projects. There's college fan merchandise, there's toys and games and silly gag gifts through like Off the Wagon and their sister store Red Letter Days. And they do all kinds of online options. They're like a Santa's workshop right now. I mean, they're bustling, which is so good to see, especially these days. Let's see, wine, restaurant gift cards. These restaurants, I drove through town last night and it broke my heart. It's, I mean, I know everybody is where they need to be, but getting gift cards so that people can use them when they're able to get back out is a really good gift idea as well. And it helps the businesses along while they're struggling now. Concert posters, there's antiques, art supplies, and you can even buy a bicycle. So I guess that's just the point, is that there's so many options down there if you just get out and look. So our website is mainstreetkent.org, and we have a shopping tab on there that shows all of the businesses downtown. And clearly there's a lot more than that. We just focus on a certain footprint of the downtown. We have 2 promotions going on now. One is called Elf Hits Downtown Kent, and there's 18 businesses that have the Main Street Kent elf hidden somewhere doing something silly, like, you know, holding onto a cucumber in the corner of the co-op or whatever. So if you find the elf in 10 places out of the 18, there's an online gift shop or online guest book that you can sign on our website. And then we'll have a drawing for 20 people to win gift cards on the 21st of December. So I've seen some people out doing that with their kids, and I actually saw a group of ladies doing it on Small Business Saturday, and they were excited. They had made 17 of them. I'm like, you only have to find 10. But and then next weekend, excuse me, is the ugly sweater weekend. We normally do an ugly sweater bar crawl, and we're not doing that this year. So basically you wear your ugly sweater and you shop and you get discounts and free cookies and coffee and popcorn and things like that to enjoy while you're shopping. So we've worked with the chamber and the city Parks and Rec to really try to decorate more downtown and just make it more festive feeling and lit up and pretty. So just to kind of help make it feel more comfortable for everybody to head downtown. Even if, you know, you're just with your spouse and you have a mask and you're very safe about it. We don't want to encourage anybody to do anything they're not comfortable with or feeling safe about. But for those of us who can, we really want to encourage the importance of that this year. And that's all I have. So if anyone has any questions or ideas that they want to share with each other or.
So again, if you want to raise your hand in front of your face or type something into the chat, we'll invite you to speak. Jackie.
Yes, oops, thank you. Heather, do you know if Popped will bring an order out to you onto the plaza?
Do they do local delivery? I don't believe they, I don't think they do local delivery.
All I've seen is the large tin of popcorn.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Yeah,
They'll bring it out to your car if you call.
sure.
They will?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just pay for it online and then,
Tell her it's downtown now, though.
but it's downtown now. It's not up on the hill.
It faces Main Street now.
It's easier to get to.
It's right.
Thank you.
Yes, it's right across the street from McKay Bricker now.
Well, thank you. All right, great.
They also have a location in Ravenna, a second location, and that's where they make all their chocolates, and they do a lot of the production of all their confections out in Ravenna. So that's right next to the winery on East Main Street in Ravenna. So
Actually, if you call them, they'll mail it for you. And it's cheaper to mail it through them than it is to go take it to the post office and all that. So
yeah, they do offer shipping. But like, as far as local delivery, like I know some of the coffee shops like Scribbles will do local delivery of stuff. And then Red Letter Days and Off the Wagon, I think within 5 or 7 miles of downtown, they will deliver.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you.
There's a question in the chat. Do you know of any new businesses planning to come in 2021?
So a couple things. On Erie Street, across from Tree City Coffee, where the Peace, Love, and Little Donuts was, there is going to be a smoothie shop moving in there. I think it's called Quench with a K. The Barrio is expanding into the former location of Yogurt V right next door. So on South Water Street, Barrio is about to bust through. We know that the North Water Brewing just opened on the very end of North Water Street. The corner shop. So let's see, I'm super geographically challenged. The corner of DePeister and Haymaker is where Pizza Fire, or no, like it's around the corner there. Pizza Fire was there and they went out maybe 2 years ago. There's a new place that just signed a lease there. Dominio. I'm guessing at a name. It's so there that will finally be occupied after a couple of years of being vacant. And then, so I don't know what will happen. Like, so the Kent Cheesemonger is going out of business at the end of December. So that plaza where Popped was and where the Cheesemonger is until the end of the month will be empty. But I haven't spoken with the Acorn Alley folks to see what is in store there. But I did also notice too on Erie Street, right across from the hotel, there's a salon there called Warehouse Salon. And then right next door to them, I think it's called Pretty Me or something like that. And they do like eyebrows and things like that. So there's two, which is kind of a nice placement for, right across from the hotel there and the visitor center. That's all that comes to mind at the moment.
Great. Any more questions? Raise your hands. Or you can just unmute. Kim. You'll have to unmute. Kim, you'll have to unmute.
Fan, you're muted.
Or Fan, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You may need to just, oh, there you go.
Now I'm on, now I'm okay?
You're good.
Yes.
Yeah. Heather, I don't have a question. I just want to thank you for all you're doing for the town of Kent, the city of Kent. It has such a positive feel. And I have relatives in Aurora who say, wow, Kent has really got it together. We need to watch you. So thank you very, very much for all that you are doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's, I mean, the focus has really shifted. Like I said, I've been here 9 years and this year has been just positivity, lift these guys up, do everything we can to help the community. I mean, the community is in need of positive things. I mean, and every single day it's just think of something positive and work together to get through this. It will end. It will end. We have to keep that. So
well, and I think this attitude spreads to the university too, because I know that there's been so much more connection and there's so much more feeling that it's possible. And just congratulations for what you're doing.
Thank you. And speaking of the university, this year that has been really a good year for us to connect with the university in a way that hasn't been before. So the university president just issued a $20 gift certificate to every employee at Kent State to spend downtown Kent. Wow. So 3,741 people have a $20 gift certificate to throw into our downtown economy, which is amazing. Like what a huge gift to these people. I mean, December is going to make it or break it for a lot of people. So that gesture, it's an employee appreciation thing from them to their faculty and staff. And it's just been fantastic to see that. And then the city of Kent followed on that. The mayor said the city of Kent should do that. We have 242 employees. So they got city council to approve that. And that's the kind of support that I don't see anywhere. We're a part of a network of Main Street communities in the state of Ohio, and we're always sharing and bouncing ideas with one another. And I've never seen anything like that. So I'm super excited to see that and hope it continues into the years to come.
There's another question in the chat. Do you know how Main Street Ravenna is progressing?
I've seen, I know Julie, the director there, and I think they're visible. They're definitely doing some public art and some planning and things like that. So I think they're off to a pretty good start. I know it's, I think their program's a couple of years old now. And it's nice to see just having a neighboring community kind of on the upward trajectory too. So I think it's fantastic. And a lot of the people that are a part of our organization and on our board are have roots in Ravenna too, through living there, the banks and so on. So I think they're off to a really good start.
Great.
There's another question in the chat from me. How can we help the Kent stage?
Yeah, right. It's I talk to Tom regularly, and he's he's doing his best and trying to think forward to there's really no way for them to just change their format of how they do things. It's not affordable and it's not reasonable. I mean, the crowd that they draw and the performers that they bring in are closer to the high risk population. So there's really nothing as far as them being able to run their business. There is a website out there that's all about trying to get the government to step in and help with the live music venues. That this has been, I mean, since March, they have not been able to do a single thing. So they've started a website, Kent Stage Posters. And so they're selling these big posters of all the concerts that they've ever done there to try to help raise some funds. We also, in this gift certificate program through Kent State, we gave the option for folks to make a donation instead of spending their $20. So we put Main Street Kent on there, as well as the Kent Stage, Standing Rock Cultural Arts, and then the Chamber of Commerce. So we've gotten like 30 of them in this week, and every little $20 helps in that way. So buying posters, making donations, becoming a member of, I think it's called the Western Reserve Folk Art Association. So if you go to the Kent Stage, you can see how to become a member and you can advocate through that. I'm not sure what it's called right now, but the initiative to keep the live music venues going and getting some type of stimulus if there is a next round here to help get them through so they can start having some shows in the spring. Fingers crossed.
Another question in the chat, is there a gift card for Main Street Kent? If so, how can one purchase it?
So like a gift card to spend anywhere downtown kind of thing? Is that what you mean? No, and it's been asked a million times over the last several years. And I think the stopper has been the expense associated with that. But when we see something like this program that we're just doing with Kent State and the city, I think, my gosh, we got to figure out a way to have a blanket card that, people will call like, oh, my kid goes to Kent State. Is there a gift card I could get her just to so she could spend anywhere downtown? And the answer is no. Like, ugh, that's a horrible answer. We don't want to have to say that. So there is not, but we will figure it out this year because even other people have said, other business owners of smaller businesses have said, I'd love to be able to give my employees a gift card to spend downtown and not pick where they're going to spend it, but make sure it has to go downtown. It's not just a Visa gift card where they could go to Walmart or shop Amazon and then it's totally blown out. So.
Great. Barb Hipsman Springer.
Well, maybe it could run like you've been running Dora.
That doesn't cost.
I mean, that's only like what, $5 to get a Dora thing on your arm, but similarly. Perhaps.
Yeah, the Dora thing is actually, you just buy the drink. The businesses, we actually covered the cost of all of the cups and wristbands to launch the program. We had sponsorship dollars for that. And then now they just pay costs on the cups and stuff. But yeah, that's, people need to bundle up and get outside and have a special cup of coffee while they're shopping.
Any last questions? Looking again. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Heather. That was great.
I saw in here privately, can you please share the store online links? If you go to mainstreetkent.org and click shop, all the shops are in there and then we link them to everybody's website. So I know Off the Wagon and Red Letter Days and Popped, Universities, Standing Rock Jewelers, I believe GV Art, they all have online options. So yeah, if you just go through our website, you should be able, and if not, just email me, I'll figure it out.
Thank you. And we have a link on our site too, under your holiday invitation to Main Street Kent and to the shop. So we're all connected.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was very informative. Okay, our final speaker or presenter is Shalon Lowry. Shalon, are you on?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yay. Yes. She is did I pronounce your name correctly?
It's Shallon, but that happens all the time.
Well, I was making it French. Okay.
That's okay.
Shallon is the executive director of the Portage County Animal Protective League. And we want to hear about how we can help our furry friends this season too.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for having me. Heather, nice to see you. Great work you're doing. Heather and I actually know each other from many years ago in Leadership Portage County. So we were in the same class. Anyhow, thanks for having me. The Portage APL is a private nonprofit humane society in Portage County. And we have been in business since 1955, serving all of Portage County. So anyone who lives in Portage County has access to our services. I normally do these things interactively, so it's a little strange for me to just blab. So please, if you have questions, save them, and I'm happy to answer them for you. Mainly our mission is to rescue sick and injured animals, so stray dogs or cats that might become injured or sick in some way. We have a humane officer, and her job is to investigate animal cruelty reports in the entire county. So if someone is concerned, sees something that looks like abuse, is in any way concerned about an animal, they can call our office, speak with, or leave a message for our humane officer, and she can look into that report, decide whether or not something needs changed, fixed, or an animal might need removed. So that is something that only we're allowed to do in the county in terms of animals, other than the police and the sheriffs. Main things that our services provide are adoption. We take in animals and we place them up for adoption once they're healthy. Many of them come to us sick and injured, as I mentioned. So they need a lot of care, whether it be a broken bone, heartworm disease. We have a dog that's actually having heart surgery this week. So that's kind of a first for us. And we only do it with support from the community. Excuse me. We provide low-cost spay and neuter programs for cats. So twice a month, we have a mobile clinic that comes to the shelter, and we offer low-cost spay and neuter services. Cats are kind of overrun in Portage County, as with many other places. And it's expensive to spay and neuter animals. So we want to make it possible for people to get their cats or stray cats in the neighborhoods fixed. We've even started talks actually with Kent last year about providing some of these low-cost spay and neuter services because we know that there are some pockets of stray cats. We know that students often move away and leave their cats behind. So we've begun some talks around that prior to COVID happening. We do have a food program, so please share with people. We don't want people to lose their pets, right? Like, the economy is tough, life is hard, especially with COVID, people losing their jobs. If someone needs food to feed their animals for a little while, they can come to us. We will provide them with some food. Sometimes we even have extra litter. So if people have cats and they need litter, that's expensive. We don't want them to lose their pets. We want them to stay with their owners who love them. So please let folks know. The program used to be based on income prior to COVID, but now we certainly, no questions asked. It doesn't matter who you are, what your income is. If you need help, we'll try to give it to you. So that's a really important thing for us right now, is that we're trying to provide as many resources as we can to folks in the community that need help. Whatever that might be. If we can't provide it, we'll try to link you up with someone who can help you with your specific situation. We've seen an increase in people wanting to surrender their pets because they're losing their jobs or they have a need in some way. And obviously we will take them if they need us to. But if we can help them keep their pets, we would love that. The other big thing that I want to mention that we get asked a lot is that we are a no time limit shelter. So we don't euthanize animals for space, for time. They can stay as long as they need to find a home. The only times we might opt to humanely euthanize an animal is if it's medically necessary, or if there's some sort of major behavior issue, whether an animal is aggressive and biting and can't be helped with behavior modification. So just to be clear about that, I feel like that's kind of the basics. I mean, I could talk all day about what we do, but I would rather sort of hear from you if you would ask questions. I don't mind having that sort of interactive play. So
See, we have a question in the chat. Is it possible to see what dogs you have available online, or must we come to the shelter?
No, absolutely. Well, one small thing is that our website is actually not functioning well right now. We're in the process of hiring someone to do a full redo, which is wonderful. So you can go to our website, but I would say you're better off to go to petfinder.com or our Facebook page. We have an album on our Facebook page called Adoptable Pets, and we put the photos of the animals we have available there. And especially because our website isn't doing what we want it to, often you might not see dogs available for adoption. You can even call or email the shelter. We're happy to talk to you about what we have, especially with COVID. We are limiting, adoptions, and the process of having people kind of wander through the shelter has stopped a little. So we do more by appointment at this time.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Raise your hand and we'll have you unmute. Heather.
So I've seen a lot of people getting pets because of COVID. In fact, I have a cat here before, and is there? And I have a friend who's like a vet tech, and there's concern of like when people end up going back to work and their inability to care for the animals they've decided they need to have in their lives. Have you seen or talked about how to handle that on the other end of this?
We have, and I think just like with COVID, it's so hard to sort of predict what's going to happen. It's like every week something changes, especially in the beginning. And so we did see a small increase in people wanting to adopt. Really for us, the bonus was more that we had people who are willing to foster for us, knowing that they might not be at home long term. They didn't maybe necessarily want to take on an animal full time, but maybe they could foster one in need for us for a little while they were home. We haven't seen any animals returned yet that went out during COVID, unless it was for a specific reason, meaning that, it's not just because they went back to work. We are anticipating probably some impact that way. But the reality is we don't know. And our plan is always just to say, you know what, if you can't take care of the animal anymore, we will happily take it back. We'll always take our animals back that way. There's never a concern that the person might dump it or take it somewhere else. They're always welcome back at our shelter.
Chris. You'll need to unmute, Chris.
I know that your big fundraiser in November is usually the auction, the silent auction, and you had to cancel this year, but you had a virtual one. How did that go?
It actually
How
went
did
really
that go?
well. It went really well. Obviously, it didn't recoup a full event income, but it actually did really well. I feel like we raised $9,000 or $10,000. That's just from online auction and sponsors. And this was the second one that we have done because we did have to also cancel our spring event. So we got a little better at it the second time. But if any of you have businesses or organizations that need to do the online auctions, they're actually fairly simple. And for us, it's just a blessing. It's been such a scary year, for everyone. And for us, knowing that our events are a huge portion of our income, to take that kind of a loss is really scary. So being able to have some online fundraisers and bring in some of the income that we lost from canceling has been a huge help.
We've adopted a lot of pets over the years from your organization,
Thank
and
you.
they're always wonderful. They're always the best. And I just want to compliment you on how well you do with the money you do have.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, we run a tight ship, and it's important to us to spend it, on the animals that we have. And it's hard to make decisions sometimes. Like I said, we have a dog that's having heart surgery this week. She's only about 7 months old. So we thought, can we raise the money to pay for that versus the alternative? So this is the first time I think we've been able to provide a heart surgery or something to that degree for any animal, but we do all we can for them, but we try to do it as frugally as possible to be good stewards of the money that people donate.
In the chat, there's a question. What can we do to help you right now?
Wow. So, you know, my answer is pretty simple, which is donate money, donate supplies, share stories. You know, even if you can't donate, gosh, just telling people like right now that we're here, we're providing services, we're still saving lives despite COVID and all the shutdowns. You know, we're essential. If someone doesn't go out in the middle of the night to pick up the injured animal, we don't know who else is going to do it. So just sharing our stories, donating time, supplies, telling people about our events when we do have them. And if we can ever get back to normal, if there's ever going to be a normal, attending our events, volunteering your time is very helpful. Doing things at your business, whether it be a jeans day or asking your business if they match donations, you know, all of those things can help us and help the animals that we serve, because really we do. We serve the animals and we serve Portage County. So being a nonprofit, we rely solely on donations to do the work that we do.
Can you share some examples of supplies and things that you take as donations?
Sure, absolutely. And if anyone ever needs it, hopefully I can give you my email and you can share it with everyone. If you have questions, if you think of something, please reach out and email me. I'm happy to answer any of your questions or share our wish list via a document. But we do have a wish list, and most of the things that we need are things like dog food, cat litter. Sorry, my cat's rubbing on my laptop, so I'm moving around a little. Most of those things, paper towels, bleach. Bleach is huge. We all know there's shortages of those kinds of cleaning supplies, and it gets increasingly hard for us to find them at costs that are affordable. Even gloves, latex gloves apparently went from being $2 to $8 during COVID. So there are lots of ways and supplies that we need on a regular basis. And even if you donate a food that's our off-brand, something maybe we don't feed our pets, we use it for our food program. We give it to people who need it. So that's huge.
Any more questions? Back to you, Debbie.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'd like to really thank Julia and Heather and Shalyn for presenting today. This has been, it's a real feel-good day, I think, and we appreciate your participation. I know every one of us gives back in so many different ways, and by so doing has made a positive impact on the communities where we live. This year has brought a whole new set of challenges, which together we can help meet. So in this holiday season, I wish you peace, health, love, and a sense of fulfillment. And thank you for everything you do. I'll close with a quote by Winston Churchill, one of my favorite people. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So happy holidays to everybody. Wear your masks, keep your distance, and be strong. Thank you for joining us today.